One of the most common questions I get is around my recording setup. I get questions about how I look so good, how I have so many cameras, how I can seamlessly switch between them. In fact, this question has come up so much for me recently that multiple people have offered to hire me to either come to their place and set up everything for them or give them a list of things to buy and then talk them how to do it over a Zoom call. So I thought today I would show you how my setup is set up. And I want to start with the most crucial piece of software I use, and that is the Stream Deck. So if we look at the Stream Deck I have configured, first of all, I am too excited for this, but I decorated my Stream Deck for Christmas. There's an ugly Christmas sweater icon pack, and I've got both of my Stream Decks. Yes, I have two Stream Decks. I'll talk about both of those in a minute. I have two Stream Decks, and I have both of them decorated for Christmas. But the real crucial stuff is here on the second page. These are all buttons mapped to Ecamm Live. I'll show you Ecamm Live in a minute. That is the most crucial piece of software that I use for my broadcasts and recordings. But you can see across the top here, I've got a number of cameras. The A6400 zoom, this is actually just my primary camera scene. And then I have 5 different cameras, actually 6 different cameras. This icon is not quite the icon I should be using here, but you'll see those all in a minute. But I did want to show that I have all of these cameras across the top. And then the next set of buttons are various scenes that I use in Ecamm Live. So this is a primary display that I use, especially when I'm doing screencasts or demo videos. I have a cam overlay, so if my face is not in one of the scenes, I can just easily add it. This is especially nice for the overhead camera that I use. And just a few other scenes to make things easier. You can see there is this button which shows the current app I'm sharing so that we can kind of look at that undistracted. I also have another button that I will use when I'm live streaming so that people can see my entire desktop. And like I said, the primary display one is for when I'm doing screencasts. I also have scenes to show my iPhone and share my iPhone, my iPad. I have an end screen that you'll see later. And all of these buttons just make it super easy for me to switch between various views without me having to edit things in. I also have buttons for overlays. So if you want to say, go to casabona.org/YouTube, I can press that button to show and hide that overlay. None of that would be possible without Ecamm Live. This is the most important software I use. And so now you can see what's on the screen. This is my main window. And so this is what I am seeing when I push the buttons to make sure I'm using the right thing. You can also see all of my cameras over here in this panel. And so I've got 3 of the cameras are actually the same camera, the OBSBOT Tail 2, with different presets that you'll see in a minute. And then camera E, actually this camera is not mapped properly, but that is my overhead camera. I also have a camera for my iPhone when I'm using that in continuity mode, and all of them are here mapped to buttons in Ecamm Live. I can change the camera effects on any of these, so you can see, maybe you can see in this preview window, it looks a little bit lighter than what you're seeing over here. That's because I've adjusted some of these settings to get the view and ambiance that I want. All of the scenes you can see I've been switching through over here, and all of the overlays. And so I can control Ecamm Live with these overlays by pushing them and having them show up in whatever scene they should be showing up in. But I prefer to have them mapped to my Stream Deck. Now, something I didn't show when I was first initially showing my Stream Deck was the other Stream Deck, which I have up here now. It's the Stream Deck Plus. It is smaller, it has knobs, but this is where I have all of my scenes for RSS.com. I do work for them. I'm the evangelist for RSS.com. And these buttons help me just stay in the context of what I'm doing for RSS.com. I have a bunch of branded overlays and lighting and things like that I like to use for those videos. And so I have that on my other Stream Deck. When I'm not recording, that is the place where I'm usually running shortcuts or controlling my music and things like that. So just something that I wanted to come back and highlight. So Now that you got to look at how I'm controlling all of this stuff, let's walk through the gear. First of all, the camera you are looking at right now is the Sony a6400. I have had this camera since February 2020. The video on me setting it up remains my most popular video, and I should probably do more with it or do an update or something like that. But it is easily my most popular video. I made the investment over 5 years ago, and it is still paying off. It is such an excellent piece of hardware. Now, I will switch to this is the OBSBOT Tail 2. I am looking at it here. It's got AI tracking, it looks like, on right now, so it follows me. This is the preset 1, and so this is for when I am standing up and recording. I can also switch to preset 2, and this is a view you will get when I'm sitting down. So if I'm sitting down and working like on a live stream or something like that, you can see the better view. This is a pretty terrible view right now. You're just looking straight into my Rodecaster Pro, but this is the view that you'll get when I'm sitting down. I have one more, which is mapped to no presets. And the reason that I have that is because I have this handy remote here. And so I can use this to pan and tilt and zoom. And so I can, if I want something more specific, I can use the remote for that. So I can zoom in here, get a close-up shot of my face. Or I can zoom out and swing the camera around to the rest of my office if I want to give people an office tour, or highlight my reading nook, which is currently holding some laundry. So those are cameras. This is A, this is B. This should snap back into place. This is C, so this is just the same view, but for when I'm sitting. D is the camera that is not preset, so it gives me a little bit more flexibility. And then camera E is my overhead camera. So this is the YOLO Cam 3. This was recommended by Tom Buck. I asked him, hey, what's a good overhead camera? And I like having the overhead camera because I am doing more with gear. If you saw my iPhone video, I talked about all of the accessories I use, and it provides a nice way for me to kind of demo what's on my desk. So you can see this is my Stream Deck XL, and then over here, the Stream Deck Plus is just off camera here, but I'm really excited for this view because it is going to prove really useful for me when I am showing, different pieces of hardware or how I have my desk configured or anything like that. I have found to be really useful. So you can see that this camera is on an arm, and I can swing it out of the way when I don't need it anymore. So it's not just kind of hovering over my desk. That is a really nice and convenient way for me to manage all three of these cameras without having stuff in my way all the time, because this still is my primary work machine. Now, behind me, I do have another desk where I like to work. My laptop is there. My chair is currently in the way over here. But I have a keyboard and mouse over there. So when I do want more focused work, I will work at this desk without all of the stuff, the recording stuff around me. So I do have some flexibility there. But that is a tour of all of my cameras, how I manage everything, my Stream Deck, Ecamm Live, the multiple cameras. Now, one thing I didn't show you was the iPhone camera. So let me connect to that, and you can see that this serves as, I don't use this one too often because it's usually just pointing at the back of my desk, but it is a nice way to give a more up close and personal look at some of my gear. And so this is something that I like to employ when the time is right. But you could also, if you want a secondary camera, put it on a tripod. I've done that too, where I put it like in the back, or I'll put it on a tripod. And before I had my OBSBOT Tail 2, when I want to point it at a different scene. And it works really well for that too. Again, all possible thanks to Ecamm Live. I also have the teleprompter. I didn't talk about that. That's how I generally maintain eye contact, and it serves as a second monitor for me, which is nice. The last thing I'll say here is something I think is really important is the setup I have today has taken literal years for me to build up and add to and get just right. And this is really important for people to understand because I think they look at setups like mine and other creators who have been at it for a long time and they think, I need that right now. You don't need that. If you're just starting out, you can get something like the YOLO Cam 3. It's a tiny magnetic 4K camera with a zoom, and you're off to the races. Get a decent mic. The Shure MV7 Plus is really good if you want to spend both of those things will cost you less than $500, and it just like a rock solid setup. And to really drive this point home, I'll link this page in the description as well, but I have a page casabona.org/desk where I showcase my desk over the years. So this is just going back to May 2019, when we first moved into our house. I have pictures of my desk from previous years. So this really chronicles what I've added to my desk. You can see the first iteration, I don't have the Sony camera. I have a Logitech something. And I've got the, I can't really see that from here. This might be the Shure SM7B still. But then in February, I added the Sony camera and some random stuff on the wall, right? And so it evolved. About a year, almost 2 years later, I rearranged the desk completely. I had multiple mics and arms and stuff like that because the pandemic helped accelerate some home recording stuff that I was able to get. And so you can see the evolution of my desk over time. This is really important because it shows you that you can iterate, that you don't need to get everything all at once, and that consumer recording gear has come such a long way. Back when I started in 2014, you'd have to spend a fortune to get production level quality like we can get today with stuff that I buy on Amazon or B&H or whatever. So just something I really wanted to share. You can experiment, you can see what works best for you, and you can iterate and add things incrementally. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of this, leave them below. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, I hope you find some space in your week. Hey, thanks so much for watching that tour of my recording setup. If you want to see how I use my iPhone and my entire iPhone setup, check out this video over here. Like I said, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you out there.